Democracy is getting a hard time in the Western press at the moment. Let me just read to you the opening of Gideon Rachman's latest piece in the FT. A decade ago, it says, people across the Arab world were cheering the fall of despots. Now they're cheering the fall of democracy. These setbacks for political freedom have global implications. In the US, President Joe Biden argues that the battle between autocracy and democracy will define this century. By contrast, Beijing is pushing a China model that stresses stability and order rather than political freedom. Rachman goes on to discuss what lesson this provides to the world. In other words, what has Beijing realized that the Western world has failed to see? He summarizes it thus: democracy, while important, ranks lower in the hierarchy of needs than food, shelter, and stability. This is what I've been saying for years. Western journalists go on and on and on about how evil China is because it has chosen stability so that it can feed its poor, instead of choosing the Western government systems that give power to people like Donald Trump and Boris Johnson. On another page of the same newspaper, we read from Jim Saunders that many African nations were pushed into Western liberal democracy many decades ago, and we can all see the results. The problem is treating democracy as a sacred cow, he says. In the UK Guardian, we read this from John Green. Throughout history, US global aggression has always been justified by the mantra of bringing democracy to the rest of the world. From the occupation of the Philippines to Cuba, Nicaragua, Vietnam, and the Middle East, US intervention has been nothing more than establishing and maintaining its economic and military hegemony. Green points out that America simply ignores terrible human rights abuses in countries on its list of allies. The interesting thing is that Western reporters covering Hong Kong for the news pages of the same media outlets still treat democracy as a sacred cow and still treat moves to shore up stability as evil. They clearly aren't reading the op-eds and letters pages in their own newspapers. Goodbye.